All right, Matt, here we are in Pomona for the 2010 annual SoCal Speed Open House. A lot of cars still rolling in. We're going to go check out all kinds of things. Talk to Jimmy Shine.
We're going to talk to Jimmy Shine. We're going to check out some of the hot rods that he's building in his shop. We're going to go into the SoCal Speed Shop race area where they build their bonnet-filled cars and some of their cool race cars.
So we're going to get the full, 50-cent tour here.
We're going to check out some cool stuff.
Well, we're here with Jimmy Shine at the SoCal Open House with Motorator Matt here, and we're starting to check out some of the cars. Tell us about this nice dragster, 60s period-looking thing that looks like a fairly scary ride.
Well, this is a car that was campaigned in the mid-60s, circa about 1964. It's owned by Tom Proofer, who's out of Texas. This is an old A-fuel dragster, which ran on nitromethane. It's not NHRA legal, the safety equipment, the roll cage, motor restraints. I mean, this is period correct. I mean, that's how these guys were pretty balls out back in those days.
Leather helmet and some goggles, and they were out.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
And
an old helmet
and an old paint mask, carbon filters for the roll.
It looked like it, yeah, but no, they were fire retardant. They were open-faced helmets, fire suits, fire gloves, boots. Open face, however, they had like a face mask, but it still was really inadequate.
Yeah.
Once again, that stuff has all evolved over the last 40, 50 years.
You see some of the old videos of these things roll, and you go, these guys were just like, they were suicide guys because they were getting in these things, and even back then they didn't, we got nice tires now that are safe, suspension's better, cars are a little bit better engineered, materials are better. Back in the 60s, Hemi and a blower and some Hillborn injection and you're ready to roll.
Yeah, but once again, we're looking back 40, 50 years, let's say, and this was cutting edge. I mean, these guys had all the confidence in the world. This is the latest and the greatest. Now we look at these cars like, Bernstein and Force,
yeah,
and Caps. All these guys are driving these just wicked, insane cars.
Insane.
I mean, they've got more computer controls on those things than the first rocket that went to the moon.
What kind of power did this motor make back in the era? 1,000 horsepower, 1,200, 1,600?
I want to say probably 12 to 1,400 horse. This is an aluminum-bodied roadster. It's all hand-built. It started its life about 18 years ago. This is the brainchild of Jackie Howerton, who's a real famous sprint car, Indy car builder from back east. And this is his design. This is his baby. He started it, like I said, about 18 years ago. And he kind of just... You get to a certain point where he built so much that he just couldn't bring himself to quite finish it on his own. He ended up selling the car to a friend of ours, Bill Lindig, and Bill Lindig bought the car from Jackie, and the condition was that it had to be finished under Jackie Howerton's direction. So Bill Lindig, Jackie Howerton, and Pete Shaporis came together to finish this car, and of course us guys in the shop are doing all the fabrication work and actually
the heavy lifting,
completing this stuff. Yeah, it's the strong back, weak mind, scenario. But it's an insane car. I mean, everything on this is hand built.
It looks like it's got kind of like a track front end, like a track nose on it.
It's kind of derived from like a sprint car, Indy car, dirt car. It's got that 40s, 50s, 60s kind of flavor to it. I know everybody's still debating, whether the car gets painted or not, because this is all. Look at this body. This is all hammered out of a flat sheet of aluminum.
It looks like it just needs a little bit of like a sand and a buff, and you got, skip the paint job.
I tell you what, it's got my vote. I think this thing is so beautiful that I wouldn't want to paint it.
All right. Well, we got some special guests popping into the show. Why don't you do an intro?
Yeah, what a surprise! This is Alex Exidius here. He is the founder of SoCal Speed Shop. 1946, a legend and a hero to many.
Thank you, Jim. Nope. Hang on to it.
All right, I'm doing my.
It won't take long to talk about the history. 60 years.
60 years. Well, you have 30 seconds to nutshell it for us and give us the highlights.
I first had a little Sears prefab garage that we built on a little lot in Burbank, California.
Is that kind of off of Western?
Yeah, not far from Western on Victory Boulevard.
Yeah, we passed by there. We're right around the corner.
It's a body shop now.
Yes, it is.
In fact, the guy's a really skilled body man. Yeah, he's a nice shop there. Well, the history's here too now. We've been doing this a long time, and it's been, as you see, very, very successful and a tremendous amount of fun for me.
Well,
So much fun for me to be associated with these guys and
Especially me, right? We're best friends.
And get their talent rubbed off a little on me. The cars they're building are just,
that one's
it's
fantastic.
so much fun to be part of SoCal again after all those years. And we did our thing, and now they're doing theirs.
The passing of the torch to the new generation, kind of a thing.
A very new generation. Yep.
We're doing our best. They're big shoes to fill, but we're doing pretty good.
Nice sucking up to the
I
old,
don't know about that.
to the
Hey,
man.
how many records? I mean, you wouldn't believe the cars. Unfortunately, the belly tank that Alex is so famous for isn't here today. But that's what we talked about last week was the P38 Lightning drop fuel tank. Yeah, that's
It's over
just,
at the NHRA museum right now.
he got the record at 198 miles an hour wearing a pair of sunglasses, a t-shirt. Were you wearing shoes?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
we weren't that far.
198 miles an hour, and that was 1953?
1952.
It's just so incredibly fast in that car too. It just
Well,
it's
that was
got
an
to feel
unblown
like
flathead.
an amazing.
And
You know,
yeah,
I mean, in those days, it was remarkable. Vic Edelbrock knew what he was doing, and Bobby Meeks knew what they were doing, and we kind of knew what we were doing, and the whole thing really worked out. We got 3 first places. We ran 3 different engines that year: a little V8 60, a B Mercury, and a C Mercury, and we got 2 records: best appearing car and crew. We had 6 awards in 1 week. Nobody's even come close
That's
to
pretty
that.
insane.
You ask Pete, when he restored it, he'd call me at night and we'd talk about things he had found. One time he called me and he says, "You damn guys put ball bearings in the rear end." He didn't know that guys were doing that in those days. So he was tearing it apart in there with these ball bearings. So things like that but he admits that the car, when it was finished new, looks just about like it does now.
Yeah,
There's a lot of restorations that don't. But my coupe was never as nice as a Roscoe did. But the belly tank was.
it's neat to be here and check out the cars, and it's a super pleasure to finally meet you. And
Same here. Thank
we
you
already
very
met
much.
Jimmy, so that's you don't have to.
Yeah, I know. I'm disappointing, but I'm a reliable disappointment.
We've been using
I'm not
Jimmy
gonna
to get
let
to you
down.
the whole time.
That's it. This looks kind of interesting. A little more vintage-ier. Hemi.
Well, what this is, it's a flathead with the Ardent overhead conversions to take a flathead from being an L head to a Hemi overhead valve configuration. It's a 32 3-window coupe. The motor is, I want to say it's 330 inch. It's a big one. It's all aluminum, flathead with a Scott blower on it, Tremec 5-speed. These are original castings off of original Indy wheels from like 1953, I want to say.
Jimmy, this is your truck, and I saw this on your show on Hardshine.
That's right.
And I saw this at SEMA, I think a year or two ago.
It's been all over the world.
And I am a big fan of this truck. I think this is one of the coolest things that you guys have done here. And I know this has been a passion project. You've redone this a couple of times, I understand.
Right, yeah, it's evolved over the last 10, 12 years, but it started out with a basic idea I had 25 years ago I always wanted to do. And I started building this about 13 years ago. And it's a 1934 Ford truck, original chassis, original body. It's been chopped, I chopped it 5 inches, channeled at 6, Z'd the chassis, built all my own suspension. Motor's a 1949 Ford, it's an 8BA. It's 277 inches. Stock, they're 239. Scott blown. It's built by H&H Flathead.
With the superchargers on them, they could probably still make maybe 300 horsepower. Is that right?
This one makes, I think, 255.
250. Probably
about what I
sounds
thought.
good though.
It sounds
Oh, yeah.
real good. You know, it's basically a V8 Briggs and Stratton. You know, it's the same engine. Actually, the new lawnmowers have overhead valves in them.
I get
now,
a lot
you
of
know?
heat for calling the flatheads. It's like people go, "What's this flathead thing?" I go, think of a old Briggs and Stratton lawnmower engine,
Yeah.
and then add a bunch of cylinders.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
It's just bitching the way that the stuff's laid out, and
Well, it's kind of a post-war era theme. I'm a dry lakes racer, land speed Bonneville guy, and I really like that late 40s, early 50s. The guys, once again, there was a lot of stuff that was used that was aircraft because these guys were military, fought in World War II.
A lot of surplus.
Found all these
hanging out.
bitchin'. Yeah, number one, like you say, there's a bunch of surplus. But like they looked at all these seats and all these different mechanical equipment they could buy for nothing that was so well engineered, so lightweight, and they could, modify it and put it in their car and go really fast. So yeah, there is an aircrafty theme to it, but it's
Definitely have that
post-war
theme
era.
on the interior as well.
Yeah, well, they're actually ejection
Military.
seats.
Ejection
that I found
seats.
up in San Francisco at a surplus yard. Sure hope it'll start.
It's gonna start.
And this is our race car shop primarily. We've got our big plate over here for doing our chassis where we build all our Bonneville cars and such. Right now we've got it kind of cleaned up for our open house and stuff put away. We've got a Pro Mod car up there right now. The rest of these vehicles are hot rods, of course. And then we've got a Rolls Royce over here too.
So we're gonna do a little chop to the rolls, or
You know
It's
what?
going to be a set of land speed record in the Rolls Royce.
In the Rolls Royce division, yeah. Now we're putting an LS1, or I'm sorry, an LS3 motor in it and drivetrain
Really?
package. I guess the guy that owns it, his dad bought it brand new in '66, so it's got some sentimental value
Yeah.
to him, and he wanted to get rid of the Rolls motor, and so we're doing a slight update on that car.
cannonball run
That'll
style.
actually be kind of
Wouldn't
fun.
that be
Yeah,
cool?
that'll be
Yeah.
kind of fun
Wouldn't
to
that be
do.
cool?
Well, Matt, looks like another fine day at the SoCal Speed Open House. And
It's much bigger than a normal open house.
yeah,
This is a big
definitely.
show.
I'm going to call it a speed festival. Even though we're not really driving cars here, there's enough people, I want to say, to make this a festival. There's got to be 1,000 people out in the front of the street right now. At least 500-600 cars on the main drag, if I can throw that out that way. Behind the building, there's another stack of cars packed full of people. So I think a great festival here. Anyways, Matt, let's blow out
Let's hit the
and
road.
get back to work.